Hi, I'm Don, and this is the Hobbyist Geek. Welcome back, y'all. Today we're on to part 4 of this amazing Holo Magic City build. Gotta tell you, if you're into this kind of thing, this particular product is certainly bang for your buck. I am thoroughly enjoying it. But, well, you've seen the previous issues. You know what's up? Let's get back into the build. So here are the parts we're going to need for the next stage, which is packages. We're going to be building 4 packages. Now I got to tell you, these were a pain in the butt to cut out. Mainly because it was just a square and the cutout lines for the template were incredibly difficult to see. But we managed to get it done. So we're good there. These are going to be fairly simple. Basically, we're going to pre-fold quite a few things. We got this flap here. We're going to fold all 4 of these edges and then the 3 seams in the middle. So let's pre-fold all of that. I'll be right back. All right, so you should have something similar to this, all pre-folded. What we're going to want to do now is apply a little glue to this, and we'll make it into a box, just like this. At which point, we will fold in the ends and glue those together. Make sure when you're folding in the ends that you fold in the square ends first with the triangle ends overlapping on top. So what you'll end up with is a little box that looks like this. And now we got to do it 3 more times. So let me get that done. I'll be right back. And here we are with 4 little packages ready to rock and roll. And now we're going to come here to D10. That is all 10 of these little stickers here. And we're going to use those to decorate our boxes. Now you can put them on any way you want. I'm going to go ahead and try to follow the example pictures that they have to the best of my ability. Let's see what the end result is. And here we go. Our packages now have labels. Very, very nice. And that finishes the packages stage, and we can move on. Next up, we're going to do a couple of paintings here. We have 2 C121s, and we're going to be using both of the D30s. These are just stickers that'll plop right on. So, nice and easy. Be right back. And there we go. 2 paintings ready to rock and roll. We can move on. All right, here are the parts we're going to need for the next step. We're going to be building a whole bunch of clocks. So this should be fun. We're going to kick things off with both of these pieces. This is C68. And you are going to kick things off by gluing one on top of the other to double the thickness. So let me go ahead and get that done. All right, now we're going to let this glue dry. We're going to move on to the rest. The rest of these are very simple. They're just take a sticker and apply it to the face. So we've got C6 here, and that will get D40. Let's see, where's 40? D40, right there. Then this is C7, and that will get D21. There it is, D21. C123 will get D46. There's got to be a 46 on here somewhere, right? Well, I will have to look for it because I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm just blind. But it's got to be on here somewhere. Because 45, 47, 48, it completely misses 46. I'm not sure where 46 is. I'll have to go find it. See, wait, my bad. This is 107. This gets D38. That's that one. This is 123. Still don't see the 46. I'll have to look for it. And then you've got this. C126 gets D36 right there. And C108, the owl clock, will get D35. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply these stickers. And oh, hey, look what I found. Way the heck up here. D46. I'm just going to go ahead and apply the stickers. I'll be right back. All right, here are all of our stickered clocks, and I love how they're all having different times. I don't know what world this piece is in, but apparently every room, maybe even sections of a room, have a different time. Or someone just doesn't know how to set their clocks. Doesn't matter. All right, next up, we have to come back to this. Hopefully the glue is dried enough by now. And we're going to use D41, this sticker right here on the face. So it should look like that. And now comes the fun part. You've got the pendulum here, and we've taken D100 and we've cut 3 segments. These segments are in 15, 20, and 25 millimeter lengths. And what we're going to do is glue one end of the segments to the pendulum. So the 15 and the 20 millimeter segments are going to glue to the left side of the pendulum. We're going to try and make it looks like in the image, the 15 goes in the back and the 20 in the front. And then the 25 will go on the right side. So let me see what I can do about gluing this in, and I'll be right back. All right, look at that. Absolutely beautiful, spectacular even. All right, we're gonna set it to the side to finish drying off, along with the rest of the clocks, and we'll move on to the next step. All right. Time to make a blackboard, or otherwise known as a bulletin board. So we've got C136 here. We're going to be using D37 as the backing, and then all 5 of these D9s as the messages posted to it. So let me go ahead and decorate this up. I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll move on. And there you go. This is about as close a replica as I can make to what's in the examples. You, of course, can put the stickers on however you so choose. And we're ready to move on to the next step. All right, next up, we're going to get some signage done. Awesome. We're going to kick things off with C140 here. And we're going to put D39, this right here, on the front, just like that. Now we're going to take C139, we're going to glue it to the back, kind of at an angle so that it'll stand upright. So let me get that done. All right, and we're going to set this to the side. Basically, it's kind of like this, but I'm going to have to set it to the side and let it dry before I can really show you what it looks like. So let me do that. All right, next up, we're going to have to paint a little bit. So let me get some stuff out of the way. Okay, these 3, that is C157, C62, and C156. They're all going to need a bit of gold paint. The pattern, of course, is a little different on each. So let me go ahead and get these painted up. I'll come back, show you what it looks like. Okay, and here is what I've got here. Now, I'm letting this dry a little bit. I may end up doing a second coat. But all in all, it doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad at all. While those are drying, we can move on a little bit. We've got C77 here, and that is going to get D34 right here. Just like that. Alright, we've also got C41, and that is going to get all three of the D13s right here. And there you go, the Magic Potion store sign is ready to rock and roll. And now we've got C124, and that is going to get D24 right here on top of it. Look at that beauty. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to take, once you feel like you've got the border on this painted well enough, we're going to take this I-32, and that's going to glue right in the center. And there you are. Our Believe in Magic sign is complete. And by the way, that is our sign stand, fully dry. And I do want to let you know, I did take a couple liberties, particularly with these two. The image, the example image, has all of these stars in the corners painted as well, but I didn't like the look, so I didn't do that. And on the Magic one here, it would appear whoever painted it couldn't quite stay in the lines on the edges of the red here. And what they ended up doing was going over the edge just a bit, and just leaving a spot of red in the middle of each of these sections. So I just kind of kept it within the lines to the best of my ability, and I think it ended up looking quite nice. So I think I will leave it that way, and that completes our signage. We are ready to move on. Alright, another easy stage here. We're going to be doing animals. We have 4 wood backings. That would be C45, 55, 60, and 127. And we're going to be using 4 stickers. D22, 23, 32 here, and 43. We're just going to stick them and be done. So I'll be right back. There we go. 4 animals ready to rock and roll, nice and easy, and we're ready to move on. Alright, here's what we're going to need for the decoration stage. Most of these are just going to need stickers, but this guy is a bit of an exception. This is C119, and you're basically just going to put gold all over it. So let me go ahead and get this painted. I'll be right back. And there it is. Look at that beauty. All painted up and ready to rock and roll. Now the rest of these are just stickers. We'll start with this. This is 104. And that is going to get sticker D27. Right there. Look at that. Alright. And this is C116. And that will get D29. Just like that. And now we have 6 of these C101s. And those are going to get D25. All the remaining ones of these. So let me go ahead and just get those stickers on, and I will be right back. And there you go. Look at all that. 6 more items complete, and that actually completes the decoration stage. Things are really flying today. I am loving this. All right, let's see what's next. Alrighty, y'all. Here is what we're gonna need to make stair. This is really just the exterior staircase and a couple of extra little pieces, but should be fun. We're gonna kick things off by taking C2 and C1. We're basically just gonna put them together like this. Notice there are little notches here on C1 and on C2. You just match those up so you know exactly where to glue this in place. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, should look like that. When it's done, we'll set that to the side for the moment and let it dry. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out C117 here, and we've got I18. And as you might guess, I18 is going to glue right on top of C117. So let me go ahead and get that glued in place, and I'll be right back. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. All right. With that in place, hopefully this is dry enough that we can at least do the next stage. Now the next step is going to be interesting, because what we're going to do is we're going to use this to wrap onto this. Okay, so these will be on the sides. This will just fold down basically like that. Same over here, and this will fold down and out, and this will fold down and around there. So let me go ahead and get this thing wrapped around and glued on, and I'll be right back. And there we go. Now, I think when I showed you the little example, I had this reversed. Remember that little notch? Well, that is right here, okay? So the sides that fold, they do come out and cover the wide end. Okay, not the narrow end. So comes out and looks pretty spectacular, actually. All right, let's go ahead and let this dry, and we'll move on to the next bit. We have, let's see here, this is C105, and we have D44 here. That will go on top, just like that. And now we have D48, which will go on top of C33, just like that. I'm going to finish that piece off with D47 here. Now this is going to wrap around the exterior of this last piece that we just did, that's C33. And if there's any excess, you just cut it off. Not a big deal. Oh, let me get that done. Just like that. And as it turns out, there is a lot of excess on that sticker. I don't know if it's going to be needed later, so I'm just going to put it back here and hope we're done with it. Okay, and that takes care of that piece. And now we're going to bring this out. This is I-17, and this is going to glue to the big stairs basically in the center here. And it's going to fold down all around. But there is going to be some excess that comes off. Okay, that excess, leave it on. Okay, it'll just fold out flat in the front and the back. So let me go ahead and glue this in, and we will go from there. And there you go. Should look a bit like that when you are done. And this is ready to rock. Beautiful. And with all of this completed, that ends the stair stage. And now we're going to move on to the stair stage. That's right, there's a second stage labeled stair. There's actually a staircase, which we'll be building next. Okay, here are the parts we need for the spiral staircase. And this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, but a lot of repetition. First and foremost, we have 11 of these C61 pieces. We also have 11 A9s. Now you got to bend the A9 at a 90-degree angle, and it's important that you have it in the proper position when you do. So make very, very sure. It's actually a little more than 90 degrees, to be honest. Then it looks like this when you're done, okay? The rounded bit, it's actually like this. Despite all of my efforts, I still got it wrong on the first go. All right. Regardless, the rounded bit needs to be on the bottom. And the long side, make sure you've got your stair like this. The long side's going to go in here. Now, here's how you line it up. The short side will actually line up with the short side of, the long side of the stair here. And it'll line right on the back. So the longer one will actually follow the same angle as the front. I'm going to glue it in here. Now, that's kind of the best explanation I can give at the moment. Let me go ahead and glue one in, and I'll show you what the final result is. Alright, it'll look like this. Notice that this edge is right along this edge, but this one, there's a little bit of a lip here, okay? And it matches the angle. And it just about comes back to where this hole is. This is how you want to do it. Just like that, with the rounded side, of course, facing down. Well, down when it's upright like this. And you want to do that 11 times. So let me do this, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I now have 11 of these. Some of them are still drying. That's fine. I can begin the first part anyway, and hopefully the rest will be dried enough by the time we get to it. But the short version is we're going to take B3, our lovely stick. This will be the last time we use it. And we're going to take one of our stairs here. We're just going to slide B3 right through. See? Just like that. Then we're going to take another stair. We're going to slide in on top. And once they meet, you want them to be aligned about like so. All right. And, you know, little glue here, maybe a little bit on that, and it should be fine. Now this should align with the bottom of the pole. So as long as you keep that down there and get these in, you should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that, and then you're gonna do all 11 in a nice spiral all the way up. So let me get that done. I'll be right back. Okay, this is what we have in the end. This was harder than it seemed. Oh my Lord. Took a long time too, because really between each step I had to wait for the glue to dry before I could get to the next. It was just too unstable otherwise. I also had to put some glue on the post here, making sure that the bottom of this step lined up with the bottom of the post, just to keep things stable enough to do anything. Otherwise, it was just slipping and sliding way too much. But we're there. We're ready to rock and roll for the next bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take A10. That is this piece, A10. And basically in this orientation with the single lone structure facing up, we're going to glue just these two little bits here, and hopefully it will remain in an upright position. Let me show you where it's going to go. All right, a little bit of glue. We're going to place it right on the step towards the edge, like that. And I'm going to have to hold it and let it dry a bit. And then I'll move on to the next, and we're going to do this on all 11 steps. So let me get that done. Alrighty, y'all. Take a look at that. How amazing does that look? But we're not quite done yet. Now, before you get to the next step, make sure the glue is 100% dry. If it's not 100% dry, don't risk it. For this next step, I'm going to take this, which is A11, and basically we're just going to put little dots of glue right about where the cross is on these things, maybe just a little lower, and we're going to wrap it around so it'll go on like this, and just kind of wrap all the way around, going up the stairs to form a railing. There's a lot more here than you need, so don't worry about getting it too close to the front. And you're going to need at least 10 millimeters coming off the top. Okay? Let me go ahead and get this done, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alrighty, y'all, look at this. Now I gotta tell you, getting it on was not particularly fun. You can see some of the glue still needs to dry, but I think it came out spectacular. Remember to leave 10 millimeters up here at the top, and at the bottom, it's really your choice. I tried to make it in line with the bottom stair, just to, for appearance's sake. But this thing really came out well. I like it a lot. I can't wait to see where this is going to go in the final piece. But for now, we're done with the spiral staircase, and we can move on to the next step. All right, check this out. These are the parts we'll need for the next step, plus 6 of the LED strings. This step is called lamp. And I can't wait. We're going to get some of these lights done. So to kick things off, what we're going to do is take C5 here and I-20. And we're just going to glue them together and give it some time to dry before we continue with this piece. So let's get some glue on there. All right, look at that. All right, now we're gonna set that to the side for the moment. and let that dry. Alright, for the next bit, we're going to take these, two of them. These are I-29s. And we're just going to roll them up into a cylinder and apply a little glue to the little weight tab there to have it hold in place. So let me go ahead and get that done. I'll be right back. And there we go. 2 little cylinders ready to rock and roll. Awesome. All right, next up, we're going to take C51 here. And what we're going to do is take one of the LEDs. We're basically just going to glue it right about here. Okay, just about like that. Maybe a little bit lower. Yeah, this is going to be placed on top in the end, and this cable is going to come out of the hole in the bottom, just like that. But for now, we've got to get that LED fixed in place. So let's get that thing glued on. Just like that. Now this one you may have to hold in place for a bit because the cable and whatnot, and you want to let the glue dry enough to keep it in place with that interference. So I'll be right back. Alright, a little something like that. I ended up having to use some super glue for that. The tacky glue just was not holding enough. But it is done and looking good. Excellent. Now, we're going to move on. We've got another of our LEDs. And what we're going to do is take these cables here, and we're going to string them through this bead. The bead is D86. And then we're going to string them through the flower here, which is D83. There's a little hole that honestly doesn't look big enough for 2 cables, but we're going to do our best. Alright, should look a little something like this once you've pulled it all together. Now the bead here is very loose. Definitely going to have to leave that on there and glue that on. I should probably put some glue on the light just to be on the safe side, or the insulation on the wires at least, so that it will stay in place as well. So we're just going to get some glue down up in there and finish this piece off. And there we go. Should look like that when we're done. Now, I mentioned it before, but I think it goes without saying. Always make sure you test your lights before and after each of these little things so that you know they are all fully functional. But right now, we can move on. Alright, next up, we're going to take those little paper cylinders that we created. We're going to take another of these LEDs. We're just going to slide it up in from the bottom so that it looks like that when you're done. And of course, we will have to glue it in place. So let's get that done. Alrighty, look at that. Nice and neat. Not done with these yet, but we gotta let them dry and we'll get right back to them. Alright, for this next bit, I'm gonna take another LED here. And we've got D93 here. We're going to put the cables through that little hole in the back. Look at that. All up in there. Now, we're going to take D94. And we're going to put the cables through that. Make sure the fat end of D94 goes first. Look at that. Okay. And of course, we're going to have to glue it all together. So let me get that done. And there you go. Now, the instructions actually do have the LED hanging out here, but when we get to this one, they have it folded. So I think that's a personal preference. I'm not sure that it makes a difference in either case, other than trying to hide the light up inside the infrastructure here. But as long as you don't break the wires, you should be okay. But that's it for this, and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, next up is very simple. We have D84 here, and we're going to just string our wires right through the hole in the bottom. Alright, now once you get to this point, like I said, the instructions seem to have this bent over and tucked inside as much as it can. I mean, it's still popping out a little bit. So I'm going to give that a shot and see if I can make that happen, preferably without breaking anything. Beautiful. So you can see how I've got this folded. And now you'll just want to glue this in place as best you can right in there. So let me get that done. Alright. Something like that. And we can set it aside to dry and move on. For this next bit, we're going to bring these two pieces back out. And we're basically just going to glue this on top of this, making sure that the cables are coming out of this slot right here. So, not a big deal. Let's just go ahead and glue it in place. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, the final piece of the lamp stage, we're going to take these C53 parts right here. Okay? We're going to take the little paper cylinder LEDs that we put together. There's a little hole on the bottom. We're going to string these lights through that. Alright, and once we've got that all the way through, I'm going to fold the paper up just a bit. And we'll go glue it in place, much like this. We're going to do this twice. Alrighty, and there we go. 2 of these lamps ready to rock and roll. This is awesome. Alright, and that actually completes the lamp stage. So we now have all 6 of these ready to go. I can't wait to get these in place. But for now, we'll set them to the side and move on. Alright, the next stage is called frame. Now, frame is a huge stage with a lot of very large parts. So we're going to do it in sections, just go piece by piece by piece. First things first though, you need to take this template and put it onto this corrugated paper here. And you're going to need to cut out piece 6. Now, obviously, eventually we're going to need them all, so I'm probably just going to cut them all out right now, but the only one you need for the frame stage is piece 6. So let me just cut these pieces out of the template, and I'll be right back. Alright, here's what we're going to need for this next little step here. We have 2 C98s and C99. We have I-23, I-24, and I-22. Now gluing these, obviously you just got to glue this on here, glue this on here. Of course we have our roof section here. We won't need the template for it, but I just keep it on so that I know which number it is. I won't need it anymore, I guess. And when it comes to this, alignment is key. It's very hard to see, but there's a little circle here, and that will go over the big circle there. So it'll line much like this. So let's go ahead and get those glued on. Alrighty, so now we've got our 3 pieces with these wonderful things glued onto them. You can move on to the next step if you bought the piece that does not have the music box. If you do have the music box, you're going to have to punch out all 4 of these holes. So let me go ahead and get that done, and I will be right back. All right, should look a little something like that. Now you're going to take your music box here, test it if you haven't already. By the way, I'm wondering if the company that manufactures these only has one music box, because this is the same song that I did on the Aiden Book Nook way back when. But anyway, the big post here will go through the big hole. Make sure all of the other screw holes line up. And it does come with some bolts that you'll want to use to hold everything in place. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in. All right, and there we go. And then you can take your crank handle and just screw it onto the post here. And if you want, give it a little test. There you go. Beautiful. All right. Next up, we're going to take the sides that we just did. We're going to glue them here just like so. Okay, so the glue should go on the edges of the piece with the music box, and this will go on the outside, and the other one will of course go on the other side. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, and once the glue has dried enough on that, you're going to take your roof, which is the number 6 template, and you're just going to glue it on top. There will be a slight overhang in the front. So let's go ahead and get that done too. And there you go. That is what it'll look like when it's done and ready to rock and roll. We'll set this to the side and move on to the next bit. Next up is quite simple. We got C58 and I11, and we're just going to glue one on top of the other, just like that. Look at that, nice and easy. All right, what's next? All right, next up, we're going to build a little roof assembly here. We have C50 right here. We have 2 C52s, and notice that there's a hole on 2 sides and blank on the other 2. These are going to cross the blank side. There are pegs on the bottom of the posts that will help you line it up, and we're going to do the same for the other side. So let's go ahead and get those glued in. All right, and with those in place, we have 2 C66 pieces, and those are going to fill in the gaps over here. There's a peg right in the middle, and if you want, you can put a little glue on the tips on the end to glue them to these posts. And there you go. This roof assembly is complete. We can set this to the side and let it dry, and we can move on. Alrighty, here are the parts we're going to need for the next step. We need C34 here, and we need I12. And as you might imagine, this is going to glue on like so, and then it's going to fold around and glue on the other side. Note, I did not cut out these circles yet. We will use the assistance of the piece of wood once we have everything glued in and secured. So let me go ahead, get that glued in, and we will go from there. Alrighty, look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? Now I actually got these a little smoother by getting my own 600 grit sandpaper and just getting it in there and sanding it. Not perfect, but it is pretty darn good. Helps get rid of those extra little paper tags, I guess you can call them. The paper version of a skin tag. Anyway, next up, we're gonna get C72 here. And that is gonna glue in right there. Just like that. So let's go ahead and get that done. Look at that. Gorgeous. And now we're going to take B5 here. Now this is clear plastic. You don't want to get your fingerprints all over it, but in this state you can at least wipe it down if you do manage to get some fingerprints in it. But you're going to want to take the backing off both sides. And that is going to glue in right there, just like that. So let me go ahead and get that done. And it'll look like that when you're done. I'm going to have to let the glue dry, of course, and then I'll get in here and clean this up a little bit. And we are ready for the next step. Alrighty, y'all. This next bit is pretty much the same as what we just did. We have us I6 here. We have C35, and we have another of these B5 transparent pieces. And just like before, this will glue on, fold all the way around. We cut out the circle and put in the plastic. So let me just go ahead and do that. You've already seen it once. And we'll go from there. And there it is. Fully assembled, ready to rock and roll. And we can move on to the next step. All right, here are the parts we're going to need for the next step here. We've got I-26 and C-170. I-26 is actually going to go on the back of C-170. Now, make sure you've got, this is the clock, so make sure you've got it in the proper orientation. The rest is personal preference. And if you look real close, there are little arrows in the center here, these little red arrows, and there's little spokes on that center wheel. And I kind of like it if they line up. Personally, well, I should say the cardinal directions line up. To me, that looks better. So that is what I'm going to aim for here when I glue this together. Alrighty, look at that. With that in place, we're going to bring out C9 here. We're going to want to get this thing glued in right in there. Pretty self-explanatory there. Of course, make sure the clock is in the proper orientation. All right, look at that. Spectacular. Now, we're going to take C56 here. We're just going to glue it onto the clock. Now, what time you want is up to you. Based on the instructions, it looks like it's about 5 after 9, give or take. So, let's go ahead and glue that in place. Just like that. And to finish it off, we're going to need D104. It's one of these little gold beads. That'll go right there in the center. So let me glue that in. All right, should look a bit like that when it's done. And this piece is ready to rock and roll now too. We can move on. All right, next up's a nice easy one again. We have I8, we have C23. One glues on top of the other, just like this. And that'll do it. So let me get that done. Look at that, nice and neat. Ready to rock and roll. Let's see what's next. All right, here are the parts we need for the next step, and you can see my workspace is getting a little cluttered here. I may have to expand to keep all these pieces in line, but for now, we're okay. All right, we're gonna start with C25, and we have I7. Now this is important. Orientation matters. Make sure that the holes are on the left side, and that this map that we're putting on aligns with the right side. So it should leave the holes completely clear, okay, once it's glued on. So let's go ahead and get this glued on. Be right back. Okay, now with this in place, we're gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna take C31 here, which also has a pair of holes. We're gonna line those up. And you're gonna take one of the hinges, D101, okay? Ooh. And we're gonna line that hinge up with those holes. We're gonna use D102 screws to hold it in place. So 2 hinges, 8 screws. Let me go ahead and get that done. All right, there it is. And now you have a moving door. Now it's not perfect, it doesn't line up exactly flat, but hopefully that won't matter. We'll see as we go. But there it is. Nice and neat. Awesome. Alrighty, next up, nice easy piece. We have A3 and I5. Glue one on top of the other. Make sure to pop that hole out when you're done. When we get that done, I'll be right back. And there you go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Next. Alrighty, next up, we got A2 and I9. Same concept. Glue them together, and then you're gonna have to make sure you punch out all the holes. So let's go ahead and get it done. Alrighty, here's the final product. Note, I've only popped out the 2 circles and the square. These I did not pop out. They're not drawn here in any way, and it looks in the tiny image in the instructions that they are still intact. So I'm going to leave them and hope we don't have to pop them out later. But for now, we are good. Let's see what's next. Alrighty. Next up, we have A4 and I4. Now this one's a little different in that this is not going to do full coverage. It's going to line up just like this. Okay? And that is all it's going to cover. So hopefully we are good. I noticed that, you know, the template here anyway covers this hole a little bit and this hole just a little bit. But I mean, if we're sticking something in, I don't know which way this is going to go, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing or the way it's supposed to be. But it is what it is. This is where we're at. That's what we're going to do. So let's just glue it on. Alrighty, there it is. Looking beautiful. Alright, let's see what's next. Alrighty, here we are with the next one. This is the last stage on frame, by the way. So, awesome. We've got A1 and we've got I1. And they are just going to glue together, and that is all there is to it. So, let me get that done. And there it is. Looking spectacular. Awesome. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to have to call it here, but that does end the frame portion of this, and look at everything we have accomplished since we began this project. Look at all of this stuff. This is amazing. There is so much. And next time around, finally, we begin the assembly. That's right. Next time, we're going to start building this thing up. We're done with the prep work. How cool is that? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Have a great day.